Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is YEGO-UDA. This morning we're going to be discussing about youth and politics, and to join me in that discussion is a gentleman who is a youth leader in his own right, as well as the immediate former president of the University of the Campus Union at the Kenya Medical Training College. His name is Shadrack Yego. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Mr. YEGO-UDA.
Glad to have you here.
And I'm also happy that I'm here.
Yeah.
My name is Shadrack Yego. I come from Nandi Hills, Nandi County, and a village called Kipsamo, near Samoe. Okay. So I'm looking forward into having a healthy discussion with you, and of course, helping someone or educating young people out there. Perhaps maybe they need information, the way the slogan of the station says that knowledge is power. So yeah, thank you.
Let's start here. You know, when people talk about youth and politics, most of the time the youths are plugging in only from the space of the campaign, you know, and then of course running up to the election, doing all the manner of things that can help that. And then they are involved in the inauguration, and then they are not so involved in the actual governing.
Exactly.
You know. You say you agree completely?
Yeah, I agree because you know when yesterday I posted me coming into this, I remember there is a certain group, somebody said, you know, we've already started our 2027 politics, but I told him I think the time that we should discuss politics, because we've been taken for granted for quite a long period of time. We are only used for a certain space of time, and then all of a sudden we are drawn into the gutters, and everybody forgets about us. But I think it is time that we need to face it and say, you know, this period between electioneering period, that is the period immediately after election, that is the time that we should be discussing about the youth agenda. What are the slots that we've been promised? You know, even the government that are in places, they usually ask us to come with our own manifesto during campaign period, but eventually they draw it away. So this is the time that we need to talk about it and say, one, what are the things that you promised us during your campaign period? Are we seeing it? That is what we have to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some would argue that, you know, in the past, some young people have been given position, and they have been, you know, unable to live up to the task, and as such have then given you a bad name, you know, resulting in people saying, wangoje kwanza.
I would say that is a factor, but not really takes a larger percentage. Because, I mean, if we live according to the past to some extent, then we are going to deny ourselves some of the rights. Remember, if those youth have failed before, then why use us during campaign? Are you getting me? Because if this is a promise that was promised to us, regardless of who has ever occupied that space before, then it means that we are supposed to be fast, you know, fulfilled with the promises that we were given first. And then now we can talk about who has been able to perform. And, you know, I think there is a structure that has been built, because that is a narrative that the old politicians used to justify the reason as to why we are not being given slots. It is a narrative, because by the time a youth is given a slot, it means that there is a value that that person has. So because they do not just choose anyone, so it is still the same people who go for people who are weaker, and they place them in some of those positions. Then they eventually justify that narrative. And that is why I'm saying, why don't we live up to the present time and offer slots as promised, and representation according to numbers that we carry? Remember, we're talking about politics. Yeah. It is polls, it is numbers.
And it's good you are saying that, because why don't you? For example, we were just having this discussion before the show started, but I was trying to tell you, one of my frustrations with the youth is that they don't ask enough questions. For example, you know, let's take the Hustler Fund as an example. A lot of it is supposed to go to help young people.
Exactly.
Start up business and, you know, do things like that. We had promises even before the Hustler Fund. We had promises right here in Nairobi from the governor Sakaja about amalgamating all the licenses into one. It's not happened. I'm not hearing any voice of young people, and you know, as they start business, asking even how far are we on doing that. We're not hearing the voices of the young people in asking the questions on the Hustler plan. Hey, this money that we are being given. We hear there's some savings. Where is that savings going? How will we be able to get it? What is the process if you save a lot and all those kind of things? We're not hearing them asking about the process of repaying. So
we are not. We are here, and I can tell you this. No. I can tell you one thing. There are like three factors that makes us not to be heard, our voices not to be heard. One, there is that lack of representation, because if we have our own representatives, these are the people, we have platforms that are supposed to be means of asking questions. One of them include legislative houses.
Yeah, you got nominated MPs.
Yes, we have nominated MPs who are supposed to, but they are not providing platforms that young people can engage in. Factor number two is the fact that, when young people, majority of them have just left universities, or they are in universities, or they are in that process of looking for a job. So at times, you are carried by early life crisis. I don't know if it exists, but I know there is that, because you're thinking about, will I ever be successful in my life? So you find you are so much engulfed with so many activities, because life to young people has been made so difficult to an extent that you run day, night, day in, day out, until you forget even to ask what is happening. And that was even witnessed during our last election. That is why young people were not even willing to go vote. Somebody would ask, somebody would say, why should I follow political gatherings or political processes when I can go fend for my own future, when I can go do something for my own self? So those are the factors that
7 million people who didn't show up.
Yes, and those are young people, and they were sending a message that it will get to a point that we will no longer care about what is happening. But that is also a problem that a government should be worried of. And in fact, I was saying, if I was in a good position to talk to the president, then I should ask. This is you look at the indicators. What will we be having in the next 10 or 15 years? We should be forming policies that give young people platform to air their grievance, not just airing it, and be part of the decision making. Because if I'm part of decision making, then it means the way my mind will be churning out ideas. I'll be thinking from this quarter that I represent, and that is young people. So I'll provide a solution that will go directly to helping young people.
So if you ask today to talk to the president or the people in charge
and
talk to them specifically about how to plug in, where would you plug?
Number one, we have a constitution. And I think somehow, I'm not blaming, because it's one of the best constitutions that we are having. But you see, like for women, there is an establishment by virtue of law, of paper, that they are supposed to be given the 47 legislative seats. So if we had a structure that say, let's say from every county, we do not just have to say we're giving, like in county governments, we're giving one slot to young people. Remember, this is 75%. So there is lack of representation. If we support it with a legislative agenda that has been passed by act of parliament, then we should be knowing that in every county, then we should be having slots like 1 or 2 that are purely meant for young people. Then we have parastatals. There is also one thing that has failed to happen, and especially in Kenya. And that is why we continue in the same vicious circle each and every other time, because it's still the same saying. If all parastatals would have even, remember, if there are like 300 and something parastatals that are established there, we have board membership that has maybe 8 to 15 members. If we say 30% of that should go to young people, regardless of which parastatal it is, then I can tell you we can solve a lot of problems that affect young people. Yes.
You can find yourselves on the boards.
Exactly. That is the way. That is the way we can be brought in. There is also another aspect that young people can be brought in. We have university and politics and leadership. if there is a structure that supports that mechanism the way other nations, you remember like Tanzania, South Africa, it is so easy to transit from university leadership or politics into government, because by the virtue that you've been elected to university, it means that there is something that young people have realized in you, and that goes hand in hand with leadership. So if you are given position to go ahead and churn it out to your generation, then that idea will be timely. It will be representing the people that are equally the same with you, and it will eventually bring a lot of changes. So that is the way we support it with legislative agenda. We support it by ensuring that parastatals and all state departments, it is ensured that they have a quantitative number that must be covered by youth. And then we ensure that those young people that are dreaming of leadership can be helped, mentored, and transited easily into the national governance and leadership and decision-making table. Yes.
I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
And the important points in as far as trying to get the youth on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you about your own journey, because you
Mm-hmm.
have been president at one time.
Yes, exactly.
At the Medical Training College.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, is that structure for all the colleges, or just this one that was in Nairobi here?
It is for all the colleges. And I really want to, just before I say something, let me say thank you for it's one of the best institutions. It has nurtured me, and I'll always value it, because the way their leadership structure is made is in a way to support young people, because it still relies in the old system of one man, one vote. But in some other universities, it has already changed to some structures like the delegate system, that, you know, we have to elect a few governors, and then those are the people who are going to sit and ensure that they also put some other people to go up to up the table. Now, coming out, the journey of university politics, it also reflects the national politics in a way, because politics in Africa, or actually developing nations, is still so expensive. I would say that it's still so expensive, and at times we get.
How early did you throw your hat in the ring yourself?
I think 23.
20?
Yeah, 23 years of age.
You are 23 years old when you
when I first entered into elective politics.
Yeah.
The process itself. And it is, if you do not have mentorship, if you do not have support, some of the things can make you not even to you know, give out that gift that you've been gifted with. Because I can remember very well, while campaigning, I mean, young people, it's just a stereotype of what is happening in the national politics. You cannot go campaign without posters. You cannot go campaign without having something to give people for lunch. If you do not do that, then people, it happens. I mean, it's lazima. So it's even more expensive than even MCA seats. Yes.
And where do you get the funding then? Because there's all this talk in campuses that they are heavily influenced from the outside.
It's a few, I would say that. It's a few who will get that kind of a funding. But
not yours.
But not mine. It's a few. It's a few. But for me, I think, for me, I was pushed by my own colleagues. These are the people who saw leadership in me, and they said, you know what? I remember some would even do a rambis for me to ensure that I go campaign. Even my classmates, they would even say, you know what? I have these like 1,000 or 500. Go campaign with that. So, yeah, it's quite expensive. But I can say for a fact, it is something that if we can go down to those levels, we have good young people who are having ideas, they are having gifts that they can bring to the national table, and those ideas can really bring a lot of miracles.
Yeah.
Yes.
But why is it that with campus, we have the same issues that we have outside here? Like, for example, we say young people are the future. Yeah. right? And young people have fresh ideas. They don't look at things the way we looked at things. They have got a way of, bringing some freshness. They are more integrated. But when we go to campus politics, we discover tribalism is still there, alive and well, in young people. And then we shake our heads and ask ourselves, what's going on here? Because in campus, I know that when you're doing your elections, you have to ask, watu wa Rift Valley wako wapi, watu wa nini wako wapi. I know these things. I have gone behind the scenes and
no, for me,
you're surprised that I know them.
I'm not.
I know you caucus, and then you have to go and even the way you choose a running mate, you have to be careful so that you don't antagonize the
as they say,
block of people.
Politics is a game. Before you say it is a dirty game, it is a game. And it is a game of numbers. And if you have to play numbers, then you have to go to patterns. And the most immediate pattern that you will always meet at the door before you get into the room of politics is the pattern of sense of belonging. And I wouldn't see it as tribalism. It's sense of belonging. Let me tell you one thing.
It's the where are you from pattern.
yes, that is the first pattern that exists anywhere in the whole world. Regardless of if it is region or if it is the dialect or if it is the color or anything.
I agree with you. Because even abroad, you go somewhere, you find Kenyans
yes, it is pattern.
Tanzanians
take for example, if today I go out today with, let's say, my friend from Western Kenya, we go to let's say Europe, and there is a competition, and then they say this is Wamunyinyi, and Wamunyinyi is going to run against let's say Ngwachu of what do we call, of, let's say, Nigeria. If I'm going to vote in that ballot, even if Wamunyinyi has not even said any word to me, I'll go there and I'll be like, oh,
Terry is an age.
So I'll go there and do it. So there are patterns that do exist. And now,
we can't deny them.
From that pattern, there will come another pattern now after sense of belonging. They will come to the pattern of, do we ascribe to the same values? And I'm so worried because the pyramid of how we look at leadership is so inverted. Because you can talk about values, the workability of a person. So that one you'll find it coming at the bottom line of the list anyone would use while going to election.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear you. We're going to take a break on that particular note.
Thank you.
And then we'll be right back with more. Even as we talk about youth and politics, don't go away.